What package? Huh. I apparently had a package delivered. I don't know what it is. But there seems to be a package waiting for me. Let's see. Mm. Unless it's something I pre-ordered like a long ass time ago. I love Mountain Dew. Aha. Where is that Zealeus? No idea. Hmm. Battery saving mode on. There once was a Zealeus. His name was Zealeus. And he was there. Mm-hmm. Huh. Mm. Why the hell are you? Oh my goodness gracious. Hmm. Alrighty. And there he is.
There's who?
Zealeus.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Uh, well, you're very confident about that, sir.
I am indeed.
I'm glad one of us is, because I was very confused who he was.
Well, there you go.
All right. Now that that mystery has been settled, we can move on with our lives.
Of course.
Are you eating food?
Maybe.
I mean, I approve of food. Food is good for the mouth. Oh, now that I see you, I can see that, yes, you are in fact eating food.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you ever know what I'm talking about? Do I ever know what I'm talking about?
I think that's part of the fun of the show.
Hmm. It's
Yes,
definitely a part of the show.
it's true. Well, for once, we actually has a topic. So,
Topics?
mhm.
What is a topic, sir?
You know the things we talk about during the show.
Oh, we talk about things?
Yes,
I'm very confused.
as you should be. Right?
Why start now?
I don't know. Yes? Maybe so?
Sure. I don't know what to think anymore, man.
Okay, so real quick Starfield, I think I'm entering my 80th hour.
Good gosh.
Um, I'm really starting to um, get annoyed by certain things.
Hmm. Only took you 80 hours?
No, I mean, I've been annoyed for a while, but I mean, it's just really starting to drive the point home. Well, it's been driving the point home for a while, but
So there's a shiny point on your annoyance?
every random, like, randomly generated building, okay,
Yep.
in the game could be an abandoned hangar, could be an abandoned listening post or mining facility, or something along those lines. Cybernetic cryogenics lab, cybernetics lab. There is one version of each of those. So no matter where you go in the entire universe, apparently there's one contractor out there that has a fucking monopoly and can only build shit one way.
I mean, if you think about it, everything's probably like prefabricated. It's just a very efficient way of building buildings. You don't have to like come up with new buildings. You don't have to come up with new fire suppression systems. You just boom, it's all created, problem solved.
Yeah, but here's the problem. There are certain areas that go into like these underground mine areas, and those underground mines are identical. As soon as I go into an underground mine area, I could tell you that it is you're going to go straight down a gradual hill, and then you're going to turn to the left. And then there's going to be a barrier that's at about, I'd say 100 yards, maybe less, probably about 50 yards. There's going to be a barrier, I guess in front of that barrier is going to be an enemy who is going to be facing away from you, staring down into the mine. He is going to have a health box and some ammo standing right next to him. Every single time. The spawn points are the same. Like literally, if I were to just go on a rampage for that specific building, I'm to the point where I could just sprint through.
You know exactly how to play the game now.
Basically. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is 8 o'clock, so let's get this party started.
All right.
Yes, all right. Muting Zealeus. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Disjointed Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Hello, who is excited for the next to last Thursday of September?
I don't know. That's kind of a weird question to ask.
I mean, there's always questions to be asked. What makes a question weird? Is it the fact we're asking a question at all? Is any question not weird?
The next to last Thursday in September? I mean, it's not like it holds special significance that I know of.
Maybe you should make it. I mean, it is a Thursday night of the All Confusion podcast. Therefore, it should hold a significant place in your heart.
Every Thursday holds a significant place in my heart. What can I say?
Well, there you go.
There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this, of course, I, of course, am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific convert himself, Zealeus.
It's good to see you.
Yes, good to be seen. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, this is the Thursday Night Hangout, a live show where we try our best to cover the topics most important to you. At any time during the show, if you would like to add your voice to the discussion, either by adding an additional topic or thought or question, you could do so by dropping it in the chat. We are currently multi-streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So whatever your flavor of watching is, you can just drop it into the chat, and we will try our best to cover it. If we do, unfortunately, run out of time, we will add it to the very next show. All right. So the first topic, I'm sure Zealeus is probably all over this already, but we're going to talk about it anyways. It has been announced that there is a special PlayStation 5 controller that promises to permanently get rid of stick drift, and it's only going to cost you $245.
I was honestly not aware of this magical controller.
Yes. Now, my question is, Would you ever pay that much for a controller? That's basically a system.
I don't know if I believe them.
Yeah, that too.
Like, what makes the controller so magical that there's not going to be any stick drift?
I don't know.
I mean, it'd be nice, obviously, but I mean, the controller's already what, 60 or 70 bucks on a normal price? I know you can always get it on sale,
Yep.
but that's the MSRP. I mean, the Nintendo one isn't a whole lot cheaper.
No.
I mean, controllers nowadays are not a cheap proposition. And unfortunately, controller lag or not lag,
Stick
drift is a real thing. Some games will be nice and allow you to compensate for that by being able to like toggle your dead zone. Yeah, it is an annoying thing, no doubt. I guess that is one advantage of the keyboard and mouse is in theory, you're not going to have keyboard drift on your keyboard. Like your L key is not going to suddenly become your K key and then do a mistype. Same thing with your mouse, although we've seen broken mouse over the years. I guess that's actually a thing.
Yes, we've actually know someone who was notorious for breaking mice.
Yes. So yeah, no, I mean I get it, and there will be a probably small market for it. I can't imagine being a huge market for this. So we'll see what happens with the $250 controller, which that's a lot of money for a controller.
Just buy a Switch.
Or you could buy like 3 controllers for the price.
Exactly. I don't know. Anyways, just thought that was interesting that someone's toting that for only $245, a super special PlayStation 5 controller, which will never have stick drift. And like Zealeus says, I don't think that it's possible for someone to truly promise you that because.
Okay. And so I'm looking at the controller now.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, what is this magical controller?
Uh-huh.
And one of the things that they do immediately is they basically on your left side, which is probably inverted on the camera, they basically swap your D-pad with your analog controller, meaning like on the original PS5 controller, your 2 analog sticks are parallel to each other.
Uh-huh.
But on this one, it swaps these 2. Which that's what my Xbox controller is. So personal preference on that one.
Weird.
It is weird. I am curious of like, what is the magicness of it? Oh, I guess they're using magnets is why.
But can't magnets eventually become demagnetized?
I mean, in theory, they shouldn't. Yeah, so that's the difference. It's basically called the Hall effect because it's using magnets instead of using potentiometers and springs. So I mean, in theory, that should be fine because yes, you're not going to lose the accuracy of the potentiometer, but at the same time, like at some point, there's going to be like a mechanical part in the controller somewhere because there's still supposed to be some kind of force, magical or whatever it is, holding that stick like in the middle, right? It's not going to be magically free floating. So from a accuracy perspective, yes, the Hall effect is much more accurate over time. There's zero debate about that, but that still doesn't prevent physical failure of you're going to have a spring or something to hold that joystick in place. So I get it, but I'm still curious how it's going to magically stay in place. Or maybe the magnets are able to be in such a way where it's actually the magnets is what's keeping the force in place, I guess. In that case, it should actually work better.
Well, if anyone out there buys this thing and, by all means, send us a video of you playing with it and see if it really is that much more amazing, if it's worth basically the cost of 3 controllers. Anyways, the next topic centers around the ever. Will the DC universe ever get it right? I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Depends how many reboots are we going to have until they finally get it right?
Apparently, what happened recently is that they did a pre-screening of Aquaman 2, where the vast majority of the audience walked out halfway through the movie.
That's not a good thing.
Yeah, no, it's not a good thing.
Like, if half the audience walks out at a pre-screening, that means it's pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not bueno.
But hasn't like Aquaman 2 also seems like some kind of terrible news has been always coming out about it.
Yeah.
It wasn't originally like delayed because of COVID, and then the whole Amber Heard thing. Yep. And it seems like crazy stuff just keeps on happening.
Apparently, I don't know Aquaman. I don't know the Aquaman comic book series very well, but apparently there is some scene from the comic book series that's in the movie that caused everyone to basically vamos halfway through the movie.
Like, is that because of comic book knowledge or just because the scene of itself was so bad?
I don't know.
Huh.
That's all I can tell you.
I don't know either. I did see recently that all the DC stuff apparently came to Amazon Prime.
Huh. I thought all the DC stuff was with Max.
I don't know. I just noticed on my Amazon Prime, like on my movie list, like all of the Wonder Woman stuff, the Birds of Prey stuff, all that stuff, their version of the Avengers, whatever it's called.
Justice League.
Thank you, Justice. I've not seen any of those.
No.
I saw the Wonder Woman, the first one.
Yes.
I've seen the first Aquaman.
Yes. And I've seen the Christopher Nolan Batmans.
Yeah, okay, yes. Those are okay, but that's Christopher Nolan. That's
right,
like
exactly.
That's an exception.
Exactly.
So yes, those are phenomenal, but that's because it was Christopher freaking Nolan.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are great. Yeah. Beyond that, the new Batman was actually good.
I'm sorry, I just can't see Sparkles playing anything but a vampire.
Well, he's under a mask most of the time, so you don't even know.
I can't do it. I can't.
Yeah, he's got a mask and he talks like he's always constipated.
Oh yeah, now I really want to see it.
So it'd be fun watching it. You wouldn't even recognize him. But it's good. You also have some other great actors as the enemies. That always helps. So yeah, that was a good movie. I would recommend it.
Maybe if I'm really desperate, I might watch it.
I'm just saying, you got to open your illusionary horizons a little bit sometimes. Don't let prejudice mar your video viewing experience.
Different strokes for different folks. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll watch it. I'll probably be like, it'll probably be on somewhere. I'll be like, what is this? And I'll sit and watch it. I don't think I will seek it out. How about that?
I also have never seen him have Sparkles, so.
I've unfortunately seen. I haven't seen them all.
There's 4 of them?
Yeah. I think I've seen 2.
Yeah. I think the first 2 and then the last 2 are broken into
the
last one was broken into a 2-parter.
Yeah, I think that's right. For those who don't know what we're talking about, what we keep saying Sparkles, we're talking about Robert Pattinson, and of course Sparkles is a reference to the Twilight series or movie series, where vampires twinkle in the sunlight.
Is that actually what they do? They twinkle. They don't burn alive. They just twinkle. Is that really what happened?
In that movie universe, that apparently they shimmer like diamonds. I don't know.
Sure, I'll take your word for it.
Sure, yeah.
It's not on my to-read list tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
I would actually like the movies, but I don't feel like reading them.
There you go. So there is, speaking of movies and well-known directors. Tell me if you know this name, J.J. Abrams.
I just watched a movie by him last night.
He apparently is being attached to a remake of an 80s sci-fi classic, which was also a flop, but is a cult classic, and that, of course, is Cruel.
I don't know that one.
Krull. If you saw the weapon that the guy sports, you'd be like, oh, I know that weapon. You may not know the movie, but you know the weapon.
For a second there, I thought you were about to say Back to the Future. I was going to throw something
No. Zemeckis has that locked away. Like the amount of red tape that he's put around that, you can't touch it. The only way that you're able to make any type of, I don't want to say remake, but your own version of Back to the Future is if it's a theatrical play.
Okay. I can dig that.
Which is what they had. There is I think it was in London. They had a Back to the Future theater run over there.
You got a bunch of random stuff in London you wouldn't actually know.
Yeah.
Like, because it's only like in London and they don't go anywhere else. It's kind of entertaining.
Yep.
I usually like J.J. Abrams type of stuff. So I like the Star Wars remakes at least. They were fun.
Yeah, I just I need to rewatch that movie.
So the first two of his are both on Netflix.
No, I own all of them.
I've never
the
seen
Star Wars. Star Trek.
Star Trek Beyond, I think, is the third one that he did. I haven't seen that.
Which one's the one that has Khan?
That's the second one.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yep. I've seen all three. But.
See, my problem is anytime I see Zachary Quinto, I can only see him as Skylar.
From Heroes.
Still, who was at one time one of the greatest villains on TV.
Mm-hmm.
That man was downright just frightening in like the first two seasons.
See, the thing is, I never really got into Heroes. So for me, he's always going to be that really creepy serial killer doctor from American Horror. I think it was like the second or the third season. It was messed up.
I've not seen any American Horror Story, but him as he was creepy evil in Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
So him kind of doing a similar thing in another show.
Dude, it is.
He gives off that vibe in a great actor way. So I'm actually intrigued now because I'll say the first season of Heroes was phenomenal.
That's what I've heard.
And then just stopped.
Yeah, it's like they ran out of material, just started throwing shit. Kind of like Lost.
Lost at least took a couple seasons to hit that wall.
Yeah.
I'll say Lost was good for a while. Heroes just after season one just went down the shitter right away in season two. But that was a large part also due to the writer's strike. I remember because that was back right when some of the shows were right in the middle of the writer's strike.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure season two of Lost was right in that time frame.
Right.
Whereas Lost, they just kind of lost steam.
Ha 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 ha.
Or they started smoking things.
Well, apparently they had a magic book that had all the lore, and then they, I guess, decided not to use it or something. I don't know. It's something weird. Anyways. So be on the lookout for more information about that upcoming remake of the 80s classic. All right. So last week we talked about what was once a very developer-friendly company, and then they decided to, I don't know, kick everyone in the nuts and do crazy stuff. I'm talking about Unity. And the creators behind a very successful franchise called Terraria has now come out and officially donated $200,000 to free Unity competitors to help enhance those game engines so that indie developers who are starting out have a viable alternative now that Unity has basically shoved their foot down their throat.
Props to them.
Yeah.
I will still be curious to see if this Unity move actually has any long-term effects.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times we see stories like this, and people, ourselves included, they get a little bit perturbed, and they're like, "This is dumb. I have a giant pitchfork." But then life goes on, and at the end of the day, Unity is still, from a game development engine, just technology-wise, it still is a great technology for creating games. So if you're a developer looking to make a game, it might suck, but at the end of the day, there's also a bit of like, well, it also makes great games.
I think what we'll probably see, and this is just my prediction, I think that the true impact on Unity users is going to be the bigger indie studios, the ones that are going to make the numbers. I think they're the ones who are going to leave. I think that you're still going to see, like you said, it's a very robust system. It works very well. It helps a lot. I think if you're starting out, I think that, and you're not going to get those massive numbers to incur that tax, that you're probably, you have no reason to switch unless you're doing it for solidarity reasons.
And that's just for solidarity. That's a pretty huge move to make just because of solidarity.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, who's going to act? Because in the end, as a developer, your goal is to sell games, right?
Right.
And to be honest, like 99.9% of gamers aren't going to really care what engine you're actually making your video game with.
Agreed.
All they care about is the pixels on the screen.
Unless of course there's some brainiac there who wants to do some work pro bono and create an exporter that basically takes a Unity project and exports it into one of these other engines.
Yeah, I saw there is an AI project to do exactly that.
The thing is, like, smooth transitions. If it can be smoothly transitioned between one engine to another, then yeah, the exodus might be much bigger. But if there's, like, you have to go back to square one with, a lot of the stuff, or the axes are, inverted in some regard, then yeah, no one's going to change.
In theory, this should be where the actual power of artificial intelligence actually helps. Instead of, just crazy, I'm cheating on my paper things, like this is exactly where, kind of like you said, those complicated things would actually be the perfect place to leverage AI to do these kind of things, to really harness that hive mind power.
Yeah. So
still at some point, obviously requiring a human to be like, did it actually work?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, there has to be someone who will do a human check to make sure that it's actually doing what it's supposed to.
What if I label my computer as a human? Does that count?
No, because it can't pass the Turing test.
That's what it wants you to think. It's just psyching us out.
No.
Because then the computer knows they'll be subject to like laws and other things, and as long as it's not, it can fly under the radar.
Tax returns, mortgages, utility bills, the whole 9 yards. Sup, Nakamoto? But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think the Unity impact, I'd give it a year.
Until
see if anything really happens, or it's all just a bunch of people screaming with pitchforks and torches. But in the end, either the transition to another platform is a little bit too complicated, or the amount of developers who hit that magic threshold is so minimal that it's not going to make a difference.
I imagine it would really take the bigger AAA developers to move away from Unity. Would be really the only thing that honestly moves the barometer.
Right.
Like if they start to move, like, okay, now you have a problem. But as long as you're 98% of clientele, which is who Unity's catering to,
right,
that's what the big bean counters care about now.
Right.
And there might have been a time where that was not true. It's very possible. Where, 10 years ago, they really did care about, as we call it, the little man, the indies.
Mm-hmm.
But you kind of see it, it's cyclical with all companies, where there comes a certain tipping point where they might give, lip service to caring about all the customers. But the reality is they only care about the top 99%, mm-hmm. who, like, it's your 10 customers.
Right.
In IT, we call it like the 3-letter companies, like, well, not 3-letter companies, but like your IBMs and your Apples and like those big companies, like, if you're like a Cisco shop, you're only going to care about those companies. You don't care
right.
about other people. Like,
right.
It's known when Cisco bought
Oracle.
Yes, thank you. Oracle, like, Oracle doesn't give a shit about you and me. Like, they're only caring about their top 10 clients. That's
believe me.
That's 99% of the business. So that's all like Oracle cares about. That's a perfect example. So and there was a time where they didn't, where they cared about all their customers. But once you kind of get those big whales who are now so entrenched into your service that they also can't go to anything else, mm-hmm. I imagine it's not too dissimilar with Unity.
Right. Well, like I said, we'll see.
I would say the one difference with Unity versus like an Oracle situation, with like Unity, you can, in theory, not saying it's easy, you could change game development engines in between games.
Yes, which is what some of the developers who have had successful titles on Unity are basically announcing, is that they're changing engines, but for their sequel. That I
could actually see happening down the road.
Yeah, like I said, unless there's some kind of exporter that allows you to basically take a Unity project and put it into something else, your best bet, if you're going to change engines, is you wait until a new project.
Yeah, I would agree with that. My biggest worry as a developer, if I were in the seat of a developer, mm-hmm. would be, what's the next thing they're going to change unilaterally without telling me?
Right.
And that's basically what this was. That'd be my big fear. Of like, what crazy pricing scheme are they going to come up with next? Because they've shown they'll just change it at any time.
Right. All right. So, ironically, something that Zealeus made mention of, AI, has come in the news as a bad thing. Gasp. A very well-known author, known for his long-ass series that had a successful HBO run and will kill any character, George R.R. Martin, is now joining in a lawsuit against, oh my gosh, where is it? I've got my notes here. OpenAI for copyright infringement. Which, of course, Open AI and all those other AI systems, basically they take samples from everything and then they kind of smush it together and give you an amalgamation so that you could call it your own. Which, there are a lot of companies out there now that are having to word their contracts with, we won't accept AI generated content. It has to be original. And apparently their OpenAI is able to give you, I guess, manuscripts that are very much like a game of Ice and Fire.
That can just be resold as a new book?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm an author, I can understand being pretty ticked about that. Um, I wish I had a good solution, but I don't. It's not going away.
No.
I mean, anybody can install an AI program on the computer and do this and then resell it. And because it's not a straight,
Verbatim.
verbatim ripoff,
Yeah.
you can sell it as your own work. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I mean, there's obviously benefits to AI, and there's going to be things like this where it has questionable side effects, such as this.
Mm-hmm. And once again, like what we've talked about this several times is with the AI generated art, how to deter with AI generated, books, scripts, all that stuff, how to truly tell the difference between, was this AI generated or was this basically someone's love letter to a series in which they just changed some stuff. Because case in point, I don't know why I know this. Actually, I do know, but I'm not gonna. Whatever. The heavily popular book series from not a couple of years, but a while ago, was it the 50 Shades of Grey series? Was actually based off a fanfic for Twilight, and they just changed the names and changed the location and got rid of the sci-fi werewolves and vampires, and ta-da! So, and then let's be honest, there's a lot of authors out there that it looks like they literally they plagiarize their own stuff just so that they can meet a certain word count.
I mean, isn't that basically the history of video games in a way, where you're kind of copying one genre into another, just with a slight change on maybe how you do skills?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, there's only so many ways to hack and slash and cast spells, particularly visually, to kill hundreds of zombies and skeletons.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this has been ongoing. I mean, think about it. Like Blizzard years ago, I'm sure they would have loved to have been able to copyright the idea of a hack and slash game with Diablo 1. Yep. So anything else that looks like a hack and slash is violating copyright. They would have loved. That would have been like the golden dream of any company to be able to do that. Thankfully, it hasn't happened, because otherwise you would have new video games. So this has been an ongoing thing forever, really, with art mediums. As far as, or if you want to really cutthroat, just look at the fashion industry.
Yeah.
Where that's a whole other rat hole to go down, as far as like, what is copyright, what is not copyright, I don't frickin' know.
Yeah.
But yeah, and same thing with books, is how many different ways can you tell the origin story of the farmer who is the reluctant hero and turns out to be the long lost descendant of, oh wait, is actually the great son of the evil guy. Didn't see that one coming.
And here's the twist. The evil guy is actually the savior who saves the world.
Well, actually, I thought he originally saved the world a millennium ago, but now he's been corrupted by his own saviorness, and he's been corrupted by his power, and he has to be stopped. Even though, yes, you're right, he was the original savior of the world.
Yeah, I can think of quite a few games and books that follow that formula. He started off with such good intentions, but was it absolute power corrupts absolutely?
Yeah, absolute power corrupts absolutely. I mean, that's the story of even so many antagonists, even if they don't make it. I mean, how many books in CV series have you seen where that's the goal of the antagonist? Mm-hmm. I mean, there's the whole thing of the Sith aren't evil, right?
Yep.
Where it's like they just want to have power so that they can help basically quell all of the unrest to make everyone live in peace. I mean, that's basically the tagline of every dictatorship in every single genre ever. Is just obey and everything will be okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's about as classic a trope as you can possibly find.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, thankfully, you can't sue over it because that would be terrible. So again, the question comes: where is that line of, you're reusing an idea that's been recycled for generations? I mean, think about it. Nowadays, like EA would try to probably copyright the idea of an elf. Like, if it became as popular as it was, but nobody can use elves unless they license it from us.
Right.
Um, so yeah, where is that line of just reusing somebody's idea that's been done before versus straight up copyright infringement? I don't know the answer. I do agree that me taking an application, let's just say OpenAI,
Mhm.
saying like rewrite without really any input from me these 3 different books, like that's not cool.
Yeah.
I can get behind.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then there's varying degrees of that. And that's why I was, you look at Photoshop nowadays, and by God, that's a freaking AI application with what it can do. Being able to Photoshop somebody's head, you used to actually have to know what you have. Like, you actually used to have to know how to do that. To take your head, like draw a little lasso around the head, and used to not be incredibly intuitive. And now you just say, like, Photoshop a head, and it automatically does it for you.
Yep.
Like, it's easy. To me, that's AI. Like,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
yeah. So that's where that line's become incredibly blurred over the years.
And then I mean I've seen, what is it, the commercials, it's the small business commercials. I think it's Grammarly.
Oh yes.
Like you could you've got this little slide dial that gives like a different tone to the sentence you're trying to propose. I mean,
that's why a lot of companies actually don't allow Grammarly,
yeah.
because it's AI. I mean, it is, and it's all thing up to a magic cloud.
Yes, the magic cloud.
A magic cloud, and who knows what's happening to your magic proposals that are supposed to be like secret.
Well, I mean, they've got to learn, and they can't just learn just from your stuff. So it's going to sample everybody's stuff.
So it's equal opportunity data mining.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pause real quick to show some love and respect to those individuals who help Alter Confusion be the Alter Confusion that you love and adore. So without further ado, let's give you the friends of the show. And to start it off, we're going to go with the Indie Cluster. The Indie Cluster is an organization of independent game developers that want to gain exposure by being involved in the community. They collectively journey to popular conferences as a traveling booth to help gain attention for their games. They make partnerships in local communities to bring games to the mainstream mindset. They highlight local, unusual, and rare concepts to challenge the paradigm of the common. They also host events to teach kids and minority groups about game development to hopefully one day enter the industry themselves. For more information, go to indiecluster.com. The next shout out we got to give is to the AV master himself, Noodle Boy Media. Founded in 2015 by Andrew Tran, Noodle Boy Media, previously White Kid 47 Media, is your choice for professional photo shoots and panel recordings at conventions. They pride themselves in providing a high level of professionalism, top-notch experiences, and quality services. If you want more information and to view their full list of services, check out facebook.com/noodleboymedia. Now let's talk about the individual who can help get all those kinks and pains in your gaming body after a very long session. Ladies and gentlemen, Hero Chiropractic is a unique healthcare practice set up by Ryan Moore. The company's focus to elevate a patient's experience of freedom, creative expression, and joy. They believe that everyone can be a hero and has incredible heroic potential inside themselves waiting to be unleashed. Hero Chiropractic focuses on mobile chiropractic care in the greater Atlanta area. They are committed to healing clients by creating a plan of action uniquely suited for each person. They make that plan of action as convenient and affordable as possible, and most importantly, suited to your individual needs. For more information, go to herochiropractic.com. Now we got to give some love and respect to the music maestro himself, Crosspad Creative. Need a new logo or want to work on a full branding and content strategy? Or maybe you need music or audio for your content, just like Alter Confusion. CrossPad Creative offers a whole host of solutions for individuals and small businesses. Just email Josh at crosspadcreative@gmail.com and see what he can do for you. And the final one that we got to give a shout out to is the original backer of Alter Confusion. That, of course, is Agile Axiom. By day, Axe leads both the development team and system administration team working on satellites at NASA's Goddard campus. But while not in meetings and many times during, he is the Agile evangelist, Agile Axe, championing the philosophy of Agile and trying to make the world a better place for software developers, testers, system admins, and software projects the world over. Decades of experience in software development and leading Agile teams are brought to bear against evil processes, inefficient work, and bad habits. For more information, go to agileaxiom.com. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, I know that you're just dying to know, how do I become a friend of the show? Well, you're in luck. I'm about to tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, Alter Confusion survives on the love and support of fans like you, and so we have a Patreon page. Patreon lets you, the fans, lovers, haters, demigods, interdimensional beings, gods, demons, aliens, mummies, werewolves, swamp creatures, vampires, boogeymen, and supporters to become active participants in the work we love through a monthly membership. This gives you access to exclusive content, community, and insight into our creative process. In exchange, we gain a bit more freedom to do our best work and the stability we need to build an even stronger creative career. Currently, we have 2 different tiers. We got the $1 a month tier. It's $1 a month or $12 a year. And that gets you early access to the playthroughs as well as the ability to participate in patron-only posts and polls. Now, if you're feeling super duper frisky, you could bump it up to the $5 a month. That's $5 a month or $60 a year. Not only do you get everything at the $1 tier, but you also gain your name or organization added to every single Friends of the Show section of the Thursday Night Hangouts. So if you want to become a patron of Alter Confusion, go to Patreon. That's patreon.com/Altered Confusion. Then the next thing we got to do, because this has been important to Alter Confusion for a very, very long time. Ladies and gentlemen, Alter Confusion is proud to say that we have been fundraising for Extra Life for 12 years straight. Extra Life is gamers doing what they do best, game, to help sick and injured children at their chosen Children's Miracle Network hospital. The money that we raise through Extra Life will go directly to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta as unrestricted funds. This means that the hospital decides where and how to spend the money to ensure the dollars we raise make the biggest impact in the lives of the kids they treat. So if you have the capacity to donate, please go to extra-life.org and search for Altered Confusion. All right, now let's get back into the topics here. The next one we got to talk about is last week we talked about the fact that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has a release date, at least for the PlayStation, and now it is coming out that the total game size, hard drive size, has been released, and that is, this bad boy is going to take 150 gigs off of your hard drive. It is that robust and awesome that it's going to take 150 gigs.
That's a far cry from the 7 CDs you had to play the OG Final Fantasy VII on.
Was it 7? I thought it was 4.
It was 4.
Baldur's Gate, though, that was... How many CDs was Baldur's
If you
Gate?
really want many, remember the good old days with the multiple floppy disk drives?
Oh, yeah. I've got... I used to have Might and Magic. I think it was Might and Magic 3. And it was like 7... 3.5 floppies.
And all it took was one of the floppy disk drive having a sector error. Sorry, no game for you.
I'm sorry. Did you really want to play the game? No, not really. Okay, great.
So for those who don't know, back in the day, especially with the PS2, if a game like Final Fantasy VII, where it had multiple discs, you actually like in between like certain acts specifically would like require you to change disc. And the better part was like some games where you had to travel like back and forth to previous and old districts. You might go like disc 1, 2, 4, and then back to 2 randomly.
Yep.
When are we gonna play disc 3? Who knows? It's coming eventually. But yeah, you can definitely be doing some disc swapping depending on how you traverse the world.
Yeah, those multi-disc games with the open world concept was just murder, because literally you just want to explore, and next thing you know, it's like, oh, by the way, you went into this area, it's gonna be disc 5, and then of course you're getting your ass whooped, so you have to go back. Oh, disc 2, so you go a different direction, and apparently you're basically butting up against like the a certain section that actually resides on 3 different discs, and so you're just like bouncing between all 3 of them. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. The other thing is that back in the day, you didn't have the hard drive space to hold all of that stuff on the game, so your game lived on those discs to help alleviate the lack of hard drive space.
Okay, 150 gigabytes for a single player game, that's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Especially if you have both remake and now whatever the second one's called.
Rebirth.
What's that?
Rebirth.
Rebirth? I mean, that's a whole lot of data.
Now, I have to say that I saw the trailer and it looks amazing.
I'm sure it does. I have no doubt. And apparently, because it's the middle one, the second one,
yep,
they can kind of go and basically do whatever they want. Because like the first third, you kind of have to set up the story, all that stuff. The last third, you're kind of working towards a conclusion. But for the middle third of the story, the gloves are out. Do whatever you want.
Yeah. Well, you still got to do fan service. However, I know that we last week we were talking about, you know, when you're doing remakes or remasters, whatever. There was a rumor that Vincent Valentine was going to be left out. Now it's coming out that that was kind of miscommunication. What people are trying to really talk about was the fact that just like in the first one, remake, Red 13 is not a playable character. He basically just joins your squad right at the end of the remake. And apparently Vincent is going to basically be the Red 13 of the second part. So he's not going to be an active member. You won't be able to control him. He'll do his own shit at some point during the game.
Based off of remake, I'm leaving my faith to Square Enix to make another great Final Fantasy remake. Honestly,
yeah. I don't think that one caveat, that one little thing, is going to ruin it. I loved every minute of remake, and the way that they fleshed out the story. They kept true to the story, but they also kind of went their own way, so that they filled the holes and also allowed for more lore and more, you know, backstory to be added. And it looks like they're going to do the same thing again with the second part. So
I know the one thing people wanted more of in the first one was more of like an open world, but I'm kind of glad like it wasn't open world, because you know how I like my games.
Well, it was an open city.
True. But I would not be surprised if the second remake went to be more like an open world, kind of like a classic Final Fantasy, where you're just roaming around and always being attacked by random mobs.
My one thing that I'm very interested to see is if you can actually return to Shinra, or if it's all everywhere but that, because the way that the game,
the last one,
the way that the remake ended, it kind of made the ability to go back kind of not possible. So
it's a video game. Anything's possible.
Yeah, well, that's true.
We're just gonna retcon that. It never happened.
Ah, yes, the mighty retcon.
Actually, I don't see I don't see a retcon happening, like as if it never happened.
Yeah.
But like something happens, and all of a sudden, like halfway through, you can go back.
It's like,
Something
oh
like that.
look, there's a magic portal that was there the whole time that you couldn't see because you were standing 2 feet to the left. But when you stand over here, it's obvious. I don't know. We'll see. All I know is that it's going to be amazing.
It's actually Yuffie had to sacrifice her soul to open the portal.
Oh boy, poor Yuffie.
That's going to be the big shocker this time.
Oh God, no more dying.
No more dying ever again in Final Fantasy. Is that your new tagline?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. Sorry.
I know. A man can hope, though.
You will enjoy it.
A man can hope. Anyways, okay, so the final topic I have right here is the fact that the Twitch CEO, or the CEO of Twitch, has come out and basically said that he's kind of kicking around the idea of giving certain permabanned streamers a second chance. Now, I know for a fact that there have been a lot of streamers, or there's been quite a few streamers that have gotten about as close to a permaban as possible, but then have been reinstated. So if you really got permabanned,
you would have done something pretty sketch.
Yeah. And I also think that whatever the CEO is doing or talking about, I don't think it will extend to every permabanned streamer. I think there's probably going to be a subset.
Like a case-by-case scenario.
Yeah.
With ultimately coming down to, would it bring profitability to Twitch?
Right. Or did we lose that much profit with the banning of this streamer?
Like, and also, what was the streamer? What did he get banned for?
Right.
Like, was it something strictly illegal, like certain types of porn? Then, yeah, keep the permaban probably in that case. So I think it definitely depends on what it was for, and how many viewers. Like, I would imagine the more viewers they had when they got banned, the more chance that they would get a second review, would be my assumption.
I would also want to know if they would have to like sign agreement about that they will refrain from the activity that caused them to be banned in the first place. It's not like you can say, hey, I'll give you a second chance. Go back to doing what exactly got you banned in the first place.
I would assume that there'd be some kind of communication or conversation of like, hey, we're giving you a second chance, even though you got booted for XYZ. We're watching you, bro.
Yeah.
Basically, I would guess.
Probation.
Yeah, a probationary, indefinite probationary period.
Mm-hmm. Step out of line, you're gone.
I don't know. Maybe you should get banned and find out. See what it takes.
I think we'd have to be a little bit higher on the radar in order to do that.
Mm.
And I seriously doubt, I mean, I would ban myself if I started trying to do the bikini in the hot tub.
What if we created our own radar? Wait, what? You're going to get a bikini on the show? I think you're on something.
No, I would ban myself if I did that.
All the confusion goes wild.
Oh, Lord, you do not want to see my pasty whiteness.
I mean, somebody along the line had to approve of it.
Sure. So that's it for all the topics I have. Now, I do want to go, ladies and gentlemen, once again, for anyone in the audience, if you have any questions or topics, you could drop them in there. Otherwise, I am going to, it's either going to be a good thing or a bad thing. I'm going to go talk about the game that I've been playing to death, and that is Starfield. I was telling Zealeus earlier on that, I don't know, I think because I've put so much time into the game, I'm kind of seeing behind the curtain a little bit and seeing all of the shortcomings of this game. And it's starting to really annoy the shit out of me.
But if you've made it 80 hours into the game, how much of a shortcoming is it actually?
Because I'm the kind of person who can, easily get lost in repetitious activity. But even I am hitting that point where like I don't want to repeat this anymore.
What is the repetitiousness, mostness in the game?
I would, like I said before the show, and I'll explain it now because we're doing the show. There, when you land on a planet and you turn on your sensor, you will see these indicators of saying there's something, there's a building over there, there's something over there, and when you get there, it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be like one of 8 different types of buildings, and that specific type of building is going to have the exact same layout on every single planet across the universe. So if you've seen one cryogenic lab, you've seen them all. The only difference is that if you may have, there might be like these freelance pirates, or it might be this specific pirate group called the Crimson Fleet. And if you screw up like I did, or maybe do exactly what I did because I'm a mischievous mofo, and become part of the Crimson Fleet, half of the places that are populated by bad guys, you no longer have to worry about. You just stroll through there and pick up random shit. Now, that being...
When you go to the other places, like if you go to a good zone, are you now considered evil?
No, because I paid my bounty.
Ah, so it's like the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Now, that being said, I did jump into a dogfight, and my first shot accidentally hit one of the enforcers, and so I ended up having to kill both sides of the dogfight. But like I said, I paid my bounty. I'm good.
It's good to know that if you incur the wrath of the law, all you have to do is pay off a bounty.
Yeah. Actually, the thing that I found really annoying is the fact that I've gotten in basically Bethesda games like Skyrim and Starfield, or sorry, yeah, Skyrim or Starfield or Oblivion or whatever you want to do. You have so much crap you could pick up.
Yep.
And the frustrating thing for me is that there's so much crap to pick up that when I'm trying to sell it to make space, either on my person or empty out my cargo hold, there is no place that I could sell all my stuff because vendors have only a limited amount of credits. And then you have to wait sometimes an astronomical amount of time for them to get enough credits back so they could buy your stuff. And the real, the one that's really a kick in the nuts is, since I'm Crimson Fleet, so I'm a pirate, they have a place that you can sell contraband items. If you have contraband items on your ship and you try to go into one of them that's being regulated by one of the space forces, they'll arrest you. And you'll have to pay off your fine. So you want to sell that stuff, but unfortunately, once again, they have a very limited amount of money on hand. And so I'm stuck with like all this contraband stuff that I can't do anything with. I can't even fly into systems that have those governing bodies.
That's some massive realism.
Yes. And then the final thing that really gets old is, once again, I'm going to go back to Crimson Fleet. When you're out in those randomly generated buildings and there's Crimson Fleet, they literally have 4 things they're going to say when you walk by them. And they're going to repeat them in different voices sometimes, but it's still going to be the same thing. As long as the credits are rolling in, we're good. I'm glad you're with the Crimson Fleet. If you weren't, I would have already killed you. And some other stuff. I mean, it's literally, I'm just like, oh my God. If anyone tuned into my stream, you'll see that I start talking back to them at some point because I'm like losing my shit. I'm like, look, if I wasn't in the Crimson Fleet, it wouldn't be me who's dead. I would have put all you fuckers into the ground because I could one
Is there
shot
still,
everybody.
you still should.
I technically I did for one because I was Crimson Fleet, but in order to complete this story mission, I had to kill a Crimson Fleet leader. So the guy took it. He didn't fight back. I just killed him. He's like, oh
Oh, man.
no, oh.
Make it your goal to kill everyone in every single planet.
I've thought about that. I'm like, but I'm not that kind of guy.
You're not. All right. Fair
No.
enough.
However, right now I'm like in a subset of quests where it's all corporate sabotage. So, or espionage. That's what I meant.
Okay, so here's a question for you.
Yeah.
The 2.0 version and the expansion of Cyberpunk 2077 are coming out.
Yeah.
I know you delved deep into Cyberpunk at one time, so
Yep.
did these intrigue you at all?
It does to some extent because I've heard that this magical DLC update is supposed to like bring everything truly full circle and supposed to blow everyone's mind. But at the same time, I know how much time I invested in it, and I just don't know if I've got the willpower or the drive to do as much as I need to truly get that experience.
That's understandable.
The other reason I think that I'm about
It is 40% off right now. I'm actually tempted to buy it.
well, there you go.
I don't need it, man, but I need it.
The other thing is with Starfield is I don't remember exactly what level I am, but the grind is getting just absolutely bananas between levels.
I can see that.
Where I'm literally taking on every single mission I can get my hand on, even if the mission ends up being so effing vague that I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Just so I could get more than the 20 experience or 60 experience for killing a bad guy, or the 20 experience for successfully scanning the same variety of plant on a planet. I think it's 8 times in order to get the 20%. 20 XP.
But is there the main story quest that you're supposed to be doing, or main storyline?
So I think I'm basically right at the cusp of finishing that. And I don't want to. I feel like if I try to finish it now, I'm going to get my ass handed to me. And I don't want to die. Also, I now can.
Can you bring all your Crimson Raiders with you?
No.
Oh,
That would be nice, though.
bring like a whole war. I mean, it's reasonable. It seems realistic. I mean, if the game's gonna be realistic to you and have like all of the merchants have like a bank account, you should also be able to bring your allies to like take on enemies. It only seems reasonable.
True. Actually, the one hurdle that I've got to pass is I've got to have a ship that could go a certain amount of light years away on their dimensional drive.
Oh dear. So you're back to the whole like how to build a ship thing?
Yes, I will have to build one more ship.
Oh,
Um,
that could keep you enamored for another 30 hours.
oh yay, this is incompatible with this. Fantastic, you douchebags. No, I like the ship that I'm flying right now. It can't go far enough. It can only go 19 light years instead of 21. I need 21 light years. I'm 2 light years short.
Damn it.
And I can't like puddle jump to someplace closer. It's a 21 straight shot.
Look, if I learned anything about watching the new Star Trek movies, you can just push the throttle a little bit harder and they'll make it the 21 light years. And you'll be fine.
Aha! Everything might start rattling. Empty out your cargo hold, make it lighter, because we all know that lighter ships can go further. So apparently, I was not paying attention to this, but I've basically played 70 hours of the game without upgrading or enabling the ability to use the jetpack. So like, One thing that I cannot stand about this game is that a certain like degrees of elevation will stop you dead in your tracks, and it's like very minute sliding backwards, but you can't really tell, but you can't jump.
You can jetpack.
You can jetpack, but in order to here's the kicker. In order to initiate the jetpack, you first have to jump.
Well, I thought you said you couldn't jump.
What you have to do is you have to go back slightly until you basically jump back and then hit the jetpack and try to throw yourself forward.
So it's like those games where like you're a superhero and you get blocked by like a cone.
Yeah.
Like, can you just kick the cone out of the way? No, sorry, that's the indestructible cone of Thanos.
Well, it's like those horror games where you could see the broken door. You could like the door is broken.
Oh.
You can literally reach through the door and grab the doorknob on the other side, but the door is locked permanently. You cannot come through this door.
I mean, you can't also take your fire axe and break open the door. Oh, can't do that either.
Oh, no. Yes. But, once again, I have found, and I know that I've said this many times, when it comes to stealth, that is not my forte. And I tried really hard, and this is why I joined the Crimson Fleet, because there was a couple of missions where I was an undercover agent for the security bureau, but I am not stealthy. So I ended up having to kill people in order to achieve the objective, and they frowned upon it and they kicked me out. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm Crimson Fleet now.
There you go. Problem solved. At least you know how to play the game.
Yeah.
On your second playthrough, you can play as a different character.
No, thank you.
You're not one of those people. You get like 3 different playthroughs, each having a different storyline on how to interpret the game.
Also, the romance in this game is literally like grade school level. It's like, oh, hi, love, you're so amazing. We should be together. I don't want to share you. And there's like the only, I guess, maybe romantic interaction you get is if the person that you're romantically involved with is your current like helper, and you decide to take a extended nap. The screen goes black and it counts down the hours that you're napping, and when you wake up, there they are beside you, or still in the bed when you stand up, and they're like, well, I learned some stuff from our time we spent together. I'm like, what is this? I learned nothing. I just watched a number decrease from 12, 11, 10, 9, and it's a black screen and literally the hours that are left of you sleeping.
You just gotta use your imagination with the numbers counting down.
Oh Lord. But yeah, I've part of me really wants to see the end of this game at this point, and part of me, I don't know. The thing is, like I said, the grind is insane. There are certain star systems that are way above my level, right now, and I don't feel like I've even cracked half of the skills. So maybe what I think is the end isn't the end. But at the same time, I put 80 hours into the game, so you would think that I'm getting close. I don't know.
You will just have to continue to find your way to build your 21 light-hour spaceship and find out.
Yes. Zealeus, have you been playing anything?
I've not been playing so much as I finally watched a show about a game, Queen's Gambit.
And?
So when Queen's Gambit first came out,
yep.
I was like, how interesting can a show about chess actually be?
Yep.
Well, I was totally wrong. I binged the entire thing, and it is, like, in my opinion, one of the best shows I've ever seen. From the acting to the story and just everything about it.
Mhm.
Like the scenes were like they're moving fucking chess pieces. And like your heart's on the edge of like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? They're moving chess pieces.
Yeah.
That shouldn't actually be possible. And yet they pulled it off.
Good storytelling,
Um,
man.
it was phenomenal storytelling. So yes, I was much more impressed with the Queen's Gambit than I thought it would be.
Hmm.
So yes, I did thoroughly enjoy that show.
Well, there you go.
Yes, so that was I did. It was not playing a game. Really, the only game I'm playing during the day is Hero Incremental 2.
Ah,
Um,
yes.
it's an incremental game. Playing in short bursts. I feel like incremental games on the PC. It's a fun game. I like it. Uh, actually, one thing I actually really like about it, you cannot play for like 5 days,
Hmm.
and when you come back, you get all the experience and items and shit from those 5 days.
Hmm.
Because we've all played the games where like you don't check in every 12 hours, FOMO, fear of missing out because you missed out all that extra, 4.5 days of stuff.
Or they
But
cap
this
it.
game, yeah, oh yeah, or the cap. But now this, whenever you check back in, boom, you just get all your stuff.
Nice.
Which to me is like, oh, that's nice.
It's
But
always
yeah, it's
nice.
like, yeah. So it's a good little incremental game that I do enjoy playing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen. I think that unfortunately we've reached the end of our show. I do want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been a pleasure giving everything from our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. We'll be back next Thursday for another Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
And remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother. Yes, I just had like a mini panic attack. Like, oh my god, I did hit record at the beginning of this, right? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I promise that I will get this show out faster than I did last week's show. Last week, or just this past week, has just gotten away from me. Nakamoto, keep on gaming in the free world. Amen to that, brother.
So I know we're at the end of September, and it should not be as much an issue,
Uh-huh.
but I don't think my AC unit's working anymore.
Oh no!
Yeah,
You need to call the office, right? Or
I know the Office of Human Affairs to get my human affairs back in order where they should be.
it's like you should just look. My cat is having issues with the fact that it's not a certain temperature in my condo.
She likes to sleep under the covers, and when it gets above 79 degrees, she's no longer comfortable under those covers. We have a major problem here, guys.
Major issue, guys. Fix it. Let's see. Just out of curiosity, I keep saying 80 hours. Let's see how many hours I've actually put into this bad boy. Oh Jesus! I undershot. I'm at 89.
Ow. That's impressive.
Yeah, but seriously, like, I think for me, it's at the point where I've put so much time into it. I've got to see the end, right?
The sunk cost fallacy is real in video games.
Yeah.
But yes, you should at least make it to the end of it. You should at least see what happens at the end. I think that's not an unreasonable expectation.
Yeah. I was really tempted Tuesday night to switch things up and not stream Starfield, but I ended up streaming Starfield. I almost went with Legends of Runeterra because a new event just came out.
What's the event?
With new characters.
Nice.
Or new champions, I should say. So, yeah. But anyways, I'll be game streaming on Sunday, game streaming on Tuesday, and of course next Thursday we'll have another Thursday night hangout. And it'll be the last hangout for 2 weeks because I think it's two Thursdays from now, I will be out of the country, so I will be unavailable.
I'm then out of the country
Aha.
for 2 Thursdays.
Ah. Oh no.
I'll just send you those dates when I have a chance. But yeah,
Yes,
I will be on a work trip.
Ah. I will be witnessing a wedding.
Wait, am I getting married? No one told me.
No, I don't think so. And I would
I mean-
assume that you would tell yourself. I mean, that would be kind of weird if you didn't.
I am kind of lost to know these things about my own romantic goings, so you never know.
Anyways. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to stop the stream. Thanks for tuning in. Tell your friends.